How's it going, guys? It's Richard and welcome to my guide on how to do herb runs in RuneScape. Now what a herb run essentially is, if you don't know, is you go around the herb patches in RuneScape and you collect your herbs that you may or may not have already had planted in the patches, and then you plant another seed for the next time you go on the herb run. In terms of requirements, there are no requirements officially to do a herb run, as you can plant a guam seed from level 1 farming, but if you want to do higher level herbs, then it's advised to have 32 farming for Ranar seeds, as these give you a fair amount of cash, and the higher level farming you get, the better seeds you can plant. In addition to this, you might want to have a quest which allows you to access an extra herb patch, or other items which may enhance the ability to teleport around RuneScape and gain extra herbs from your herb run. In terms of what herbs you want to be planting, then there are lower risk herbs, which are things like quams, toadflaxes and ranars. Now these seeds are fairly cheap, you can get them on the G very easily, and the herbs themselves bring back a fair amount of revenue and you can easily make profit. It's pretty much guaranteed profit. Now the next tier, you've got moderate risk herbs, which are for higher level farmers. You've got things like dwarf weeds, snapdragons and lantadymes. Now the herb seeds cost you a fair amount of money, so it's sometimes like 20-30k, but the herbs themselves bring back a fair amount of cash and you can actually make a fair amount of money off them. Finally, you've got the high risk, which is the torstal seed. Now the seeds cost a lot of money, they're sometimes upwards of 300k, but the herbs themselves can reach like 40k at times, and they can make you a lot of money if you get a lot of herbs from a patch. Now we're going to be talking about the various locations of the herb patches in RuneScape. Now the first one I'm going to be talking about, you will need a quest to access, as it's quite a unique herb patch, and the quest you need is My Arm's Big Adventure, and it's on the roof of Trollheim. But one big advantage of this patch is that it never gets diseased, and so you don't have to worry about of losing any crops to this. To get to Trollheim, generally there's only two methods, as the others are far too slow. There's the Trollheim teleport, or you could use the teleport to Trollheim spell from the Lunar spellbook, which is quite useful if you're casting fertile soil, but one problem with this is that you do need to have a certain amount of points on the livid farm to access it. The next 4 herb patches, you don't need any quests or items to access. However, you might find items useful to get there to speed up your herb run. The first one I'll be talking about is in Canafis, and it's just off the shore of Port Phasmates, if I'm saying that right. Now a quick way to get there is to use the ectophile, as it teleports you just nearby. However, if you have a house and it's got a carol teleporter in there, then you can go to Canafis and walk north up to the herb patch, but this is a lot slower and not advised. The next herb patch is the south of Falador herb patch. Most people use the cabbage port that you get from the Explorer's Ring 3, which is for completing all the novice, easy and medium tasks of the Lumbridge and Draenor tasks, but additionally you can use the Lunar spellbook teleport to South Falador to get there as well. The penultimate herb patch is the one north of Ardougne. Now there are multiple ways to get here. I personally just use the lodestone at the moment, but if you have the Ardougne cloak 4, then you can teleport there directly to the herb patch infinite times a day. If you just have Ardougne cloak 3 like I have, then you can teleport there once a day. In addition, you can also use the teleport to the Legends Guild, which is the code BLR, and then run west from there. The 5th and final herb patch is in Catherby. A lot of people use things like the Catherby lodestone teleport, or just teleport to Camelot to walk there, but you do also have the option of the Lunar spell teleport directly to Catherby, and if you're lucky there might be someone at your previous herb patch that's teleporting there using the group teleport, and you can get there for free. But now that you know where the herb patches are and what seeds to plant, I'll talk about sort of additional things that you can do and how to actually do a herb run. You might find it useful to bring Super Compost or the Fertile Soil spell, as this decreases the chance of your herbs getting diseased and can increase the yield of the crops. Next, I'll be talking about any items that might boost the number of herbs you can get from a herb patch, the most notable of which is the Juju Farming Potion. Now what this essentially does, it gives you a 33% chance of picking an additional herb when harvesting from a farm patch, but this effect only lasts for 5 minutes, so you have to do your herb run in a hurry. The next item, which is very commonly used, is the Magic Secateurs. Now these give you generally extra yield from your herb patches, but you need to complete Fairy Tale Part 1 to gain this as a reward. If you've got a spare 10,000 Dungeoneering tokens, you might want to consider the Scroll of Life. This is better if you have more expensive herbs, as it has a 10% chance of saving herb seeds that you use, and also has a 5% chance of saving a random seed if your herbs die. If you're doing high level herbs such as toadstools, you might want to consider the Remote Farm spell if you've got enough produce points on the livid farm, as this can tell you directly whether your patch is diseased or not and can cure it just like that. The only problem with this is that you have to cast it once every 20 minutes to make sure that your herbs aren't diseased. If you have enough points stocked up on your loyalty program, you can buy the Supreme Green Fingers aura, which has various tiers, and the top tier gives you a 10% chance of receiving an additional herb from your herb patch. The aura is actually very useful as well because the cooldown is an hour and it lasts for 20 minutes, so that's a total of 80 minutes, so this can be used as quite a good guide for whether or not you can do another herb run. Up next, I'm just going to show you my personal herb run and how I'll do it, and I'll show you that I can do it easily within the 5 minutes as I'll add a timer onto the video, and then you can use my route and adjust it if you like to see how you would do your herb run. Generally, I use snapdragons as I find these to be a fair amount of revenue, but you can use whichever herb you like to make your money. As you can see, this is my gear setup. I've got my aura here, which is my Supreme Green Fingers, my Ardougne Cloak 3, Magic Secateurs. This is the Falador Shield 3. It's not really that necessary, but it gives you an extra 10% XP of the herb patch in Falador, and as this is very minimal, it's not really worth it, but I just like to do it for that little bit of extra XP. And the Explorer's Ring 3, so I can cabbage port easily. My inventory here is quite basic. I've got my 5 Super Compost, I've got my 5 Seeds, Ectophile, Juju Farming Potion, and my Teleport to Trollheim spell. So the way I do it, I start off by teleporting to Trollheim, as this is the longest route between the place you teleport to and the farming patch, so you waste least time on your Juju Farming Potion, if you're using one. So then head up the troll ladder. You can see my route from this. There is an alternative route to go to the Slayer Ring, use the Slayer Ring teleport and then go through the cave, but this can be a lot longer and I find it to be a lot more effort to do it personally, so this one is definitely advised. Now, it doesn't really matter what order you do it in. Like, besides, I prefer to start off at the Trollheim patch because obviously you're teleporting around, so it doesn't matter. But I personally always like to end on the Cabbage Port teleport because I actually have a spirit tree there in just the north of Port Sarim, so that saves me a lot of time. Now, in a minute you'll see what happens in a second. I teleport to Catherby. I waste a few seconds because I get a bit excited because I see a zombie impling, but it runs away over the cliff, so I give up. Now, earlier on you might have noticed at the Canafis patch that I actually saved my my ring of my Scroll of Life saved me a seed, so that's quite useful. But there you go. As you can see, it stops at 3 minutes and 8 seconds, which I think isn't too bad. That's I think that was a quicker run than usual because I was putting a lot of effort into it. But that's the sort of the general time you can expect. But as you can see, I got a fair amount of money from it. That's 448k, and then with the Scroll of Life, I probably only spent 100. Would have been 120k on seeds. So that's not too bad for something you can do basically hourly. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was something useful that you can do in future. If you enjoy guides, then tell me, and I'll hopefully try and put out more sort of things that people might not already know about.